take my shoes off. Hi guys, how's it going? This is my 5th month on T. It's a bit of a random number. It's not as nice as 3, it's not as nice as 6, it's not as fresh as 1. It's just 5, and a lot of the updates that I have for this month are more mental and more social transitioning than physical things. So I think what I'm going to do is just start with the physical things, the physical updates, and then move on to the other things. So in terms of physical, the one thing that has been going on throughout these months that I didn't touch on before has been acne. Now, thankfully, I don't have like a lot of facial acne, but what I do have more of is back acne. I've always kind of had quite like an oily back and shoulder area, but this time I can feel it a little bit lower than usual, so if I kind of reach over to my back, I can sort of feel more acne lower down and then all the way around, and if I actually look at it, there's more of it and it's visible. But because it's on my back, it doesn't really, like, I'm not aware of it. It's like having a tattoo on the back of your neck, like, you're not actually conscious that it's a thing, even though it's on your body. But it's nothing too crazy, so it's not really bothered me that much. I have, again, felt the area on my back and shoulders, sort of where my arm joins to my back. That sounds weird, but, like, this area, basically. I have continued to feel it really protruding more and being more, being harder and bigger, yeah. In terms of a period, I still have got my period. Similarly to last month, it has been lighter and it has lasted a day less than before. So potentially it might like slow down to a halt, but it's hard to tell. So I'm not as bothered by the period itself as I am by the PMS symptoms, and they can vary, and the most frustrating one is fatigue, is just feeling like I can't really do much, which is really is what frustrates me. And I think that's about it, really. I mean, of course, you know, the facial hair is coming in. I am now filming, as you can tell, using like an actual proper camera, so I expect it to show the finer details of the situation. I don't know if it's going to autofocus. I'm going to try. So, is my voice. I have still been using the voice recording app, and after the sort of drop that happened over the 1st and 2nd month, it has continued to decrease more slowly. It doesn't look like it's come to like a halt yet, so it could be that it's still decreasing. But I think what I found is the way I talk can have more of an influence on how it sounds than the actual depth of the voice itself. And if you look at children whose voices are the same, or at least physically they should be the same, sometimes you can tell how boys talk differently to girls just by virtue of being socialized to communicate in a particular way. And I can like make myself talk like what a boy would sound like. Like I can sort of talk like this and be like, yeah, I just talk slowly and I just go into the deep end of my voice because I can, and I just really drag out the lower end of my voice without gesticulating or anything. And whatever, like I've spent a long time not doing that because as a girl, that's offensive. Right? It's like rude, you couldn't possibly do that. And as a boy, it would be weird to not do that. So in that environment, this is how I have ended up talking. And there's other factors such as who you hang out with and where you go to school and things like that. And I think you could see differences even between cis guys compared to what kind of environment they live in, of how the speaking happens. I think that was it in terms of the physical stuff, yes. And in terms of the social transition and the mental aspects, there's another thing that's also kind of sort of related to the physical, is the actually taking tea, and I am on gel, so I apply it daily, and I used to apply it on my stomach and on my left arm, basically taking out like a little bit of it and then spreading it and then taking out a little bit more until I finish the sachet. And there's something written in the little paper thing that comes with it that says you're supposed to open the sachet, take all the contents out straight away and apply it in a thin layer. And I thought, what if me applying in multiple layers, because sometimes between applying the second layer, some of it might have dried off. I thought, what if that kind of interferes with the way the layer forms on my skin? Anyway, it could be just me overthinking it, but I thought I'm going to try to maybe optimize the absorption by taking out all the amount that I'm going to spread for one layer in one go. So if I use two different sites, like my stomach and my arms, what I do is I just use half of it in one go all over the stomach, and then the other half of it in one go on both my upper arms. So I just kind of put some on my other hand. Obviously it's difficult because you hold the sachet in one hand and you pour the gel into the other hand, so you can't do both hands and both arms at once or whatever, but the idea is that I wanted to make sure that the gel application is all in one go on one surface, rather than me waiting for it to dry and then going back to apply more. It might not make a difference, but I thought this is definitely something I can try and see if it makes a difference. And I am going to find out next month, when I'm going to be getting more blood tests to see what the levels are. Okay, finally moving on to the to the social transitioning psychological aspects. So because of my voice drop and because of getting a sense of actually passing and potentially being read as male, I have kind of moved from not expecting to be read as male, or expecting to be read as male but then instantly dismissed when I start speaking with a higher voice, to genuinely thinking that I could get away with actually being read as male all the way through, especially because of my voice now. So before, I almost could kind of use my voice as a way to kind of definitely revert back to being seen as female, so that it wouldn't be particularly confusing. Whereas now, it would be totally different to be read as male because of my voice, and then there will be no going back if then, for some other reason, people might read me as female, despite, even though, I don't know how to explain this, so it's kind of not so, like, it felt not so, it didn't make me as self-conscious to be read as like a masculine presenting woman or even male, if then my voice would make people think that, oh, actually I must be female rather than male, and like that was not my problem and they would correct themselves or whatever. Whereas now I feel more like it could fully be read as male, and if something might confuse that and be female about me, then that would put me kind of bang in the middle of not overwhelmingly male and not overwhelmingly female and genuinely like mixed, right? And that is the scary thing and far more unnerving than appearing something that then gets like refuted or whatever. Genuinely not, it's kind of like a pH curve where when you're close enough to either end, it quickly goes there, but when you're in the middle, it's the same for this amount of this, you know what I mean? Like a sigmoidal curve, whatever. It's just getting too deep now. I'm like, what? Is this still recording? I don't know how much, because I keep banging on. I think it makes a noise when it stops recording, so I should know when that happens, right? So anyway, the point is, I started being in a position where I could like legitimately pass as male all the way through, so I wasn't comfortable having anything female stand out and challenge that male presentation. Therefore, I felt a much more relevant and acute need to bind and pack to make sure that any small thing